Well, good morning. Welcome home. This is Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Inspection. I'm joined today by Connie Lindsay.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about veterans and Thanksgiving today because those are two things that are very relevant in the month of November.
It certainly is.
To start off with, we're going to review our market recap for the past week. We're going to talk a little bit about the market as we are rolling through the month of November. I'm very excited to say our new listings are at 862, which is about 200 higher than last week. So it looks like we're getting a bunch of people that want to put their houses on the market right before Christmas to sell. Usually these are investors. They're looking to sell so they don't have to carry over the asset into next year. It makes it clean for taxes. In conjunction with that, we have 1,249 price decreases. That just goes along with saying that these people really want to move these properties. So it looks like we're having a healthy market as we're moving into the final 680 pendings. That one's about the same as last week. So what we're seeing here basically is a bunch of new properties, more options for people. They aren't moving as fast, so people are still trying to be a little bit hesitant. They're a little bit gun shy, looking at what interest rates are doing. And then solds are right around 500. So it is still a seller's market out there. Buyers are having more and more say as we head towards the balanced market. Very excited, very, very excited about the 862 new listings. That's the life we need. New listings coming onto the scene, giving the buyers more say. We also have to keep in mind that January starts a new school season if you are in college. Also new job opportunities. People like to have that clean break, New Year's resolutions when they're starting their new career. They like to do it in January. We're all tied to these calendars, New Year's resolution, gym memberships that we'll be signing up for and then just not using, right, Connie?
That's true.
Do you have a gym membership?
No, I do not.
Have you ever had a gym membership?
No, I have not.
Well, then you're lucky. I have never had a gym membership either. And you look like you're fit. You work out?
With help of my doctor.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So it's very important to have the help of the doctor.
Yes.
So you're on the show today. Your name is Connie. Can you tell us a little bit about who you're with?
I'm with Liberty Manor for Veterans. I serve as their CEO, and I've been doing this for 17 years now. And I'm very happy to report that not only am I a civilian, I'm the only civilian, and also the only female.
Wow.
This organization serves homeless and disabled veterans.
Okay.
And what I learned when I started the program was that once I got them a deserving disability, they really had nowhere to move anyway. So I had to develop a step-down program for them. And we now have 11 properties total. And we started out with 26% of our market area being homeless veterans. And today, I'm happy to report it's down to 11%.
Well, that's awesome. So these properties you have, are they like single-family homes? Are they multifamily?
Multi.
They're multifamily. Like
yes.
Apartment buildings or?
Yes, duplexes.
Okay.
Yes, conducive to our clientele.
And how long have you been doing this?
17 years. 17 long years.
That's a long time. And we are now joined in the studio by Katrina Madewell. We have just gone through the market numbers. I was very excited to reveal such a high number of new listings this week.
We're feeling it. Thank you, Leo. I have to say, admittedly enough, traffic was better today than probably months of driving to the studio when I was late, so thank you.
But there was a fog warning. I woke up this morning with a heavy fog warning.
I didn't see it. It's on me. It's on me. I take 100% responsibility. Let me piggyback on the numbers real quick before we run in over to Connie. We're feeling it in the market, like all the stuff that you spewed off, and I was listening this morning. Sellers are getting anxious.
They are.
Homes are sitting longer. I know this didn't come up in the Q3 data or the other one because it comes out so late. But I'm going to have to manually calculate that. I think it's going to be better for this show, the absorption rate, because by the time Florida Realtors drops it, it's just so late. In a market like this one, But I will tell you, it's taking longer. Buyers are picky.
They are.
About what they're choosing.
They definitely are.
Stuff is sitting longer.
It is.
And people are buying a lot of new construction because the incentives are really good.
They are. But the quality of new construction is still the quality of new construction.
We know your opinion on that.
We'll say it's comparable to 2004 to 2008.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you builders they have the thing that is hard for sellers to compete with, which is a lot of them bought a huge block of money, so they're able to offer some rates that are not really what sellers can offer, even with a buy down.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, for affordability, which is what we're looking at, it's definitely an issue. So I think if you know someone that has been on the fence or wanted to buy, maybe got priced out of the market, perhaps they couldn't compete in the multiple offer environment. Hometown Heroes was just replenished with $30-some million.
Which we learned last week would only cover 1,600 homes.
1,600?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We did the math.
Well, it's still 1,600 more than we had today without the down payment assistance. So it's a great program. That is most of the buyers we've been seeing in the market. Remember, I told you that. So I think we're going to see a shift going into next year. I'm feeling like we're in it right now. So buckle up, hold on, and if you're looking to buy or you know someone that was, next year will be a good time to do that, I think.
Yeah, awesome. And plus with the 860 listings going live this week and next week, we're not quite sure what we're going to see because it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we probably won't report the numbers next week as that'll be a pre-recorded show, so we'll look at it fresh in a couple weeks.
But next week it kicks off the holiday shopping season, which has kind of already started. I mean, you have to think a lot of the big box retailers have already done their door busting. They've already done their Black Friday sales. I mean, just like every year, I didn't even decorate for Thanksgiving. I mean, the day after Halloween, I put my Christmas tree up. I'm not joking.
I believe you. I do.
And the stores are right behind me. I mean, they're already doing their doorbusters. They've already had several of them have had Black Friday. Several of them are doing Cyber Monday. These used to be what I would love to see, and in the spirit of Connie being here, what I would love to see is Giving Tuesday be the whole month of November.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yes.
I would like to see those incentives. I would like to see Giving Tuesday, and that traditionally is the day of donations. That happens the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. I would love to see that happen for the whole month of November. I don't really need Cyber Monday 3 weeks early. I don't need doorbusters. I don't need Black Friday sales. I need Giving Tuesday, the spirit of us giving back to the community, either through cans of food or money or just putting in service, donating time to organizations like, am I allowed to say Habitat for Humanity?
Yeah, sure.
To organizations like Habitat for Humanity. Yeah. Or donating
time. Like, am I allowed to say Habitat? As you say Habitat.
Donating time to Metropolitan Ministries.
We've had them on Metropolitan. We've had them all on.
Donating time or food or money this time of the year, especially this time of the year, the holiday season. Not everyone has a family they can lean on this time of the year. Statistically, this is a very depressing time of the year for a lot of people. They think back upon what they've lost, and they don't think about the future that they have. So when Giving Tuesday rolls around, which will be the week after next, please make sure you hit up your favorite charities, give them some money, hit up your favorite stops with food, with clothing, anything you can give to people that aren't as fortunate, or even people who are as fortunate as you are that just need your assistance to help those that aren't as fortunate.
Go through your pantry. Do a fresh sweep.
Yeah.
Clean it out. Donate some stuff. I know that they will appreciate it. I think we may see more of that, really going into next year. So be blessed for all that you have, for sure, and thankful, and volunteer. If you don't have the money, volunteer the time.
I definitely agree with that. Thank you.
Well said. So, and I know that you've already introduced Connie. We're so glad you could come. And she looks amazing today, doesn't she?
That's what I said. I asked if she went to the gym, and she said no. And then I was,
thank you.
It must be great genetics.
She looks amazing. She's all dressed up in her veteran's outfit. You guys will have to watch her on YouTube so you can see what she looks like.
Make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. Very festive, very patriotic.
So did you get into her story? Did you talk about the story? Because I was listening to the numbers.
I hadn't quite gotten into the story yet. Just a little bit about the organization and how it helps the veterans.
Talk about your background, Connie. Like, how'd you wind up in this space? And let me tell you what, I've seen her, I've witnessed her with the veterans. They love her. She's like mom.
You're awesome. Actually, the veterans call me Mom.
They do? I'm not
They're
surprised.
Vietnam, and I'm younger than they are. And at the VA hospital, sometimes they'll say Mom, and the caseworkers always look at me and think, gosh, she looks great for her age. Yeah, I look great for that age, but I'm younger than that.
So how did you talk about your background? Because you worked for the county, right? In the Homeless Coalition. Is that how you got
I
started?
worked for the Judicial Commission for the state of Florida.
Okay.
And I actually represented Jeff Ludicky, who is deceased now, but I started out with Jeff, and I learned that there was no housing for veterans unless they had an addiction and mental health. And I'm like, well, what about the guys that always, or the women, that always played it straight all their life?
That sounds a little unfair, doesn't it?
There was nothing available. So I learned that those veterans at times would go to the VA and say they had an addiction just to get services
Oh, wow.
for housing, to get out of the extreme temperatures of the heat or the cold, or they're hungry. And I thought, well, that's just wrong. That's kind of backwards from my career, and being taught to tell the truth. And, we're supposed to help, those that persevere those kinds of adversity. And I thought, it's just wrong. So
How did you stumble in that? How did you realize that there were so many veterans that needed this help? And
well, I did my marketing analysis, and I learned that 26% of our community was comprised of homeless veterans.
was that by surveys, like through the Veterans Administration?
That
How
was
did
through
you-
the Hillsborough County Homeless Coalition, and I also served on the board there. But we had never really discussed veterans specifically, just homeless. And when I learned how it's an overwhelming amount, I couldn't believe it. I was appalled.
How does it wind up like that? Like, how do our service men and women wind up homeless? How does that? What's their story?
I'll give you several examples. I came home from court one day, and underneath the bridge was this rather distinguished-looking man, about 40 years old, and I pulled off the freeway there, and I asked him, I said, are you by any chance a veteran? And he said, yes, I am. And I was like, do you have your VA card? And he did.
Good question.
So he showed me his VA card, and he had gone down in a helicopter and broke his back and had neurological damage. And I'm like, they sent him to his homeland with no money, homeless. And it takes about 1.5 years, for us to get him a disability. Mm-hmm. So he would have been underneath the bridge had it not been for Liberty Manor for Veterans.
Did he have any family, like parents or siblings or any children?
He had a grandmother who runs an assisted living facility, and he did remain with her for a while, but it didn't work out because she had a business to run.
Yeah.
So he thought it better just to live on the street.
Let's talk about his story and some others when we come back. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. We've got to roll to a break. You probably heard the music. 813-377-2775. This is Tampa Home Talk. We'll be right back.
Welcome home. This is Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Inspection, bringing you your tip of the week. And what better? Katrina, I was reading a book on ladder safety the other day, and I thought that would be a great topic.
Yeah.
The tip of the week. But it turned out to be just a step-by-step guide.
Oh, man. That's a good one. Was that the dad joke? That was good.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, I do have...
Well, realtors have a lot to be thankful for this year.
They do.
What do you think? What do they have to be thankful for?
The housing market.
Lots.
Oh, but I like it. You're battling my dad jokes with your dad
I'm going to
jokes.
add one every week. I'm going to make sure I got one.
Me too. Just got to slide them in.
Hopefully I can remember it.
Yes, but in all seriousness, I do have something to talk about ladder safety. This is the time of the year.
This. So you tied your dad joke into your tip of the week?
Of course.
Look at you go.
Yes. So what we have here with ladder safety is this is the time of the year you will be putting your ladder up against your house. You will be installing Christmas decorations or Hanukkah decorations or Kwanzaa decorations, or I'm hopefully not leaving anything out.
Whatever you want to celebrate decorations.
Whatever you will be putting decorations up, you will be using a ladder inside and outside of your house. Before you use that ladder, you do want to check it out. Make sure that it is safe and sound. And now this goes for all ladders. And the biggest ladder you have to worry about is actually the one that goes into your attic access. If you are lucky enough to have a builder that installed a ladder hatch, or you did one
Is that what that's
post-market.
called? The pull-down ladders, a ladder hatch?
Ladder hatch.
I learned that today. That's new. Should know that. I didn't know that.
So when you pull down the ladder from the hatch, make sure you inspect it before you climb it. If it's a metal ladder, make sure it's not rusted. Make sure it sounds well, or you're going to have to hit it with some WD-40. If it's wood, take a look at the hinges. Make sure that when it's down on the ground, the hinges aren't back on themselves. If it's back on itself and you step on it, it could break the ladder. So just take a good look at those ladders.
That was the ladder in our last house. Was just like that.
It was just a
We
rickety
skipped
thing.
that step. It worked out for a long time.
Yeah, you should just not use that ladder.
We replaced it.
If you're going to do ladders to enter your roof, it's always best to get an A-frame ladder that you can open up and put it up against your roof. Do not put it up against the gutters. If gutters are slicker, so you definitely don't want to do it. You definitely don't want to install decorations. We just had this weird tropical, not tropical event. You definitely don't want to be on your roof right now if it's moist. The heavy fog this morning is going to leave moisture on the roof. It's going to make it slick. Don't want to be doing anything on your roof if it's been wet, if you think it's wet, if it's slick. Ladders are best if you put them up against sides of the house, like the rear of the house. If you have a flat roof with no gutter, it's a perfect place to mount it. If you happen to have one of those non-traditional shaped houses and you have a corner, and you can put your ladder in the corner so it's actually braced on several sides. These are all things you should do. And make sure you inspect your ladder before you use it every single time.
So my question is, do you get on a ladder and install lights at your house?
Oh, no.
Do you pay somebody to install lights at your house?
No, we don't install lights.
You don't put any lights?
No, we put out some stuff. Like we had pumpkins that were out for Halloween. We threw them away.
You didn't give them to your chickens?
By giving them to the
Okay,
chickens.
Okay.
And
You
then,
didn't throw them away then. You gave the chickens.
And then we put out some decorations on the front and back porch. But yeah, we don't do lights. My electric bill's high enough.
Yeah, I guess so. 1920s house.
Yeah. But speaking of this event we just had, I'm thinking of writing a book about hurricanes and tornadoes.
Are you now?
It's currently just in draft form.
Oh, the dad jokes. We got 2 in there this week. I wasn't prepared for a second joke. So
I just got them riled off.
All right. Well, if you're just now joining us, we're going to reintroduce Miss Connie Lindsay. We were talking to her before the break in the first segment, and she is the person that came up with the idea for Liberty Manors for veterans. And I was asking her right before the break, how did this happen? Like, how did it happen that the veterans get overlooked and that there was no housing for them if they didn't have a substance abuse issue or a mental health issue? And so you were talking about, if you want to rename this guy, you can. Let's rename him if you want. Call him whatever you want.
Tim.
We'll call him Tim.
Navy Tim.
Navy Tim. So Navy Tim got in a helicopter crash.
Yes.
So you were talking to him because you were working in the judicial system at that time.
Right.
You said,
exactly.
by the way, are you a veteran? It turns out he was.
Yes.
And so what was his story?
He said he had sustained some serious bodily injury from that accident, so they discharged him with a medical disability, sent him back to his homeland, which was the U.S.
Where was home base for him? Where was it?
Tampa.
Oh, it was Tampa. Okay.
Which they didn't send any money that followed. So he did not have anywhere to go. And because of his neurological damage, we have a lot of funny stories to say about Tim. He's just a real humble man, even despite the fact of his adversity and the fact that, his own unit sent him back with no funding. It's funny because one day I came home from court after he had lived with us for about 6 months, and he stopped me in the kitchen. We're going opposite directions, and he stopped me, and he goes, "Connie, I got to tell you a story." And I said, "What?" And he said, "I met a girl." And I'm like, I rolled my eyes immediately, And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "Her name's Lisa." And then he started describing Lisa. And she had straight brunette hair, and more fit than I am, he said. Which I said, okay, that shows the mental health. But he starts describing her, and I said, Tim, not only do I know Lisa personally, but every man in this house knows Lisa. So, I tried to give him an idea that she is going to be taking advantage of him. So a week later, I go through the house. We're in the same spot in the kitchen. I'm going one direction, he's going the other. And he stopped me and he said, oh, Connie, by the way, I fired Lisa. And I'm like, this gives you an idea of some of the dysfunction that we have to face. The internet has posed a huge problem for us because everybody falls in love with my veterans, after they get their first round of pension and their money. And they send this money, to people on the cybernet. And, it's just devastating, despite the fact that you try to hold their hand and you are mom to them and try to explain to them, but they think, all the Lisas out there are in love with them and they give their money to them and then they're basically homeless again.
So this guy, we're going to call him Tim, he came back here and he lived with his grandmother for a while. That didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't married. I take it no other family.
No.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so these guys just lined up on the street because a lot of them don't even know where to start in terms of how to get any type of additional help or disability, I'm sure.
They do not know where to start. And that was a problem when we originated Liberty Mentor for Veterans back in 2006. But today it's a little different. And honestly, it's in part due to Liberty Mentor for Veterans. We do a lot more. Or I do. We have a board of directors, but I'm the one that's tasked with all the major nuances and of getting them a disability pension and representing them in court, for that pension. But now when a veteran gets discharged, they're given a handbook that shows some of the resources that are available to them. So they're not just left out there, to grovel. And
that's a little better.
It's a little better, a little bit.
I think especially the ones that don't have family, the VA should pay a little more attention to. I really
Most of them are estranged from their family members, and it might be as a result of a former addiction, as I've learned. But when they come to us, they definitely don't have an addiction. If they do, then I refer them somewhere else because I personally don't have any expertise in that area.
Well, and there was already help.
And there's enough, to deal with just those that are just, homeless and disabled.
So how did you start? So he was the first guy you met, Tim?
He was one of them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
another
where did
one
you
that
go
I
from
met
there? Let's talk about another story, and then I'd love to know how the first one came to be. Did they live with you? How did you do that?
It's so interesting. We have so many stories. It's actually funny at times. But we actually had a World War II veteran. This man had a lot of properties, and he had a lot of money, and he became homeless. The Salvation Army called me the 5th day that he was there. They get 5 days free. They called me on the 5th day and said that they had a World War II veteran that was up there and he was homeless. So this man would have to sign up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and stand in a long line hoping to get a room for the night. And I found out he was actually a victim of identity fraud.
Wow.
Do we need to go?
Wow. Yeah, we're going to roll to a break here in a second. So what's this guy? What are we going to name this guy as we go into the break? What are we going to call him?
travesty.
Travis?
Let's call him a travesty.
We'll call him Travis.
We'll call him Travis.
We're gonna talk about
Travis!
when we come back after the break. And then I'd love to share how the first one started, and then we'll sort of fast forward on to where you are today and then how our listeners can help. If you'd like to donate to Liberty Manners or be in touch and give some time, like Leo suggested, 813-377-2775. That's our off-air number, 813-377-2775.
Welcome home. This is Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Inspection. Now it's my turn to ask the tough questions. We have Thanksgiving coming up next week. I would like to go around, ask Connie, ask Pat, ask Katrina what their favorite Thanksgiving side is. So let's start with Pat George. Pat, what is your? I know your plans don't involve turkey at all. So what is going to be your favorite Thanksgiving side this coming week?
Well, you know, it's funny you say that because I went to Golden Corral yesterday, and they had on the buffet mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce, and I knew I wasn't having that. So those are my two favorites.
Now, are we talking mashed potatoes? That's you can tell there's potato there, or the way I make my mashed potatoes.
Really good. These, I don't think they were 100% real, but they were good. They were innocent.
Oh, that's not what I was talking about. The way I make my mashed potatoes is for every pound of potatoes, I have a pound of cream and a pound of cheese.
Ooh. All right.
It is very tasty. It's like the risotto of mashed potatoes. So.
I like anything potato. I will eat it.
Okay, so Katrina, how about you? What is your favorite Thanksgiving side?
Can I have two? I'm going to give two.
You
Pat
can have
gave
two.
two. Okay. So I do every year, like from the time I was about 14 or 15 years old, I have made homemade pumpkin pie and bread. So that's always a favorite. I love having a little bit of bread. The pumpkin bread with my coffee. It's like there's a cream cheese frosting I make on some of them. It's
A pumpkin
like
bread?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Really good. Really, really good. And then cranberry sauce. That didn't used to be my favorite because really I love potatoes. That's probably number one. But the cranberry sauce I actually learned how to make from a realtor friend of mine in North Carolina. And it is so good. Like one Thanksgiving, I was just up starting Thanksgiving dinner. She popped on Facebook Live and she was making her cranberry sauce. Amazing.
How much alcohol goes into it?
There's alcohol in it. So it's like the wild turkey honey, or whatever, any of the honey ones, with some sugar and the cranberries. And the sugar doesn't go until last. You basically let it pop with the alcohol.
Nice.
And then you mix in the sugar, and then once the cranberries pop, mix that all in. And then the other thing that I add to it that's really, really good is orange rind. Oh,
Yes.
and there's one more ingredient I forgot. Apple cider beer. One apple cider beer. I swear I need a cookbook to look at a basic 4 ingredient
So it sounds like
thing.
with your cranberry sauce, you cook off the alcohol, though, because you add it
Yes,
early. Because
yes.
with mine, what I do is I put the cranberries, with the pulpy, extra pulpy and the brown sugar, we let the cranberries pop, and at the end, I throw 2 shots of Grand Marnier.
Oh.
It gives it an extra orange kick, but on my cooking method for cranberry sauce, the alcohol doesn't burn off.
So this does burn off. So we put
Yeah.
the wild turkey honey in there, and then the apple cider beer. There was actually a pineapple one I bought. I did that one. That was really good.
That would be nice.
And then I'll do the whole edges of the rind of the orange, put that in there, let it all cook down, pop up, mix in the sugar, and add a little bit of orange.
Nice. How about
Enriched
you,
orange.
Connie? What's your favorite Thanksgiving side?
Oh, my goodness. I'm not going to get any awards for Mother of the Year.
That's okay. What is it?
We always go out to eat.
Well, when you go out to eat, what's your favorite side?
We always went to Applebee's, and this year they're not open.
No?
Yeah, so we had to make arrangements for Smoky Bones, but
All right,
because
Pat, you're late with the music. I expected you to be.
I know
I was waiting on it.
He didn't know it was coming. He didn't know it was coming.
I'm talented in many areas. That is not one of them. I've always been a workaholic, so
I work a lot too, but I love to cook. So that's my holiday I host.
And my favorite side, actually, is I like to make a charcuterie board, but I like to make it look like a turkey.
That's cool.
So it kind of starts with an apple, and then you give it some olive eyes, and then it just fans out from there with plumage of being
So are you
crackers,
doing
cheeses,
that, or
and
is Nikki doing that?
no, I do that.
You do?
I do that.
Wow.
Do you let your wife do anything?
Yes, she likes to cook. She cooks quite a bit, but I think she's doing cornbread muffins this year
Okay.
because we can actually smuggle the mix into the country we're going to be at for Thanksgiving.
All right. I'm going to have to bring you guys some homemade pumpkin stuff before you leave.
It'd be real tough unless you can get it to us by Sunday.
Is that when you're leaving?
Yeah.
Okay. I might. I'm going to start baking pumpkins down, I think, tonight.
Nice.
So-
Do you have all those pumpkins from Halloween?
Yes,
you gonna
yes,
bake
they're
down?
at home. I'm going to start cooking them down.
Nice.
Yeah, you saw all the pumpkins that were lined
They're
up.
lined up the hallway. Now it's all balloons. It's like we had pumpkins lining up the hallway. It's like I felt like if I was walking back towards the break room, I was getting a military type salute from all the pumpkins on both sides of the hallway.
I actually had, it's weird, but I had to get them out of here because I was interviewing a girl and she had a weird pumpkin airborne allergy.
That's not where I thought you were going with that.
I'm not kidding. No
now
joke.
they're just balloons.
Yeah, we replaced them with holiday balloons.
Holiday. Oh yeah, because they're red, green, and gray.
Silver.
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 Where do you get silver balloons from?
Silver bells.
Oh, silver bells.
Silver, gold, all those are holiday colors.
So you don't watch any of the holiday movies, but
No.
you know about silver bells.
Which one do I have to add to my list?
How about any of them? I mean, we learned from the Tampa Theater they're starting off with the Miracle on 34th Street in a couple of weeks, and you should go see that one.
You're right, I should.
Just
you're right.
Hit Jill up at the Tampa Theater and go ahead and visit them for their kickoff of their holiday celebration of all the different movies. They're running they had a very successful Nightmare on Franklin Street, and now they're doing a Miracle on Franklin Street. Is that what they're calling it?
I don't know, but I like your idea, Leo. I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you start watching the movies.
Trust me, I'll report back. I'll let you know.
In
if
2
I
weeks,
made it.
in 2 weeks from today, when we're back on the air live, I plan to hear about at least one holiday movie that you've watched.
Okay, I'll do my best.
What is your favorite holiday movie, Connie?
I guess It's a Wonderful Life. You can't go wrong with that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
You haven't seen that?
It's a running joke every year.
Every year, she hasn't seen anything.
Oh my goodness.
I really watch. I watch football. That's all I watch.
This is mandated.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I know. I get picked on for.
and
not
that's
knowing
another
anything.
one that's going to be halfway through the series at the Tampa Theater. You can actually see that one
Which
as well.
one's better? If I had to pick one, which one would it be?
Well, they're opening with Miracle on 34th
So that's
Street,
it?
so
Okay.
I think that's their strongest opening.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe it's not my favorite. My favorite would be the Muppet Christmas Carol, but we're just
I feel like I saw that one. Maybe I don't know.
You have
When the kids were
children.
little.
And what night are they playing Bad Santa? That's my favorite.
oh, that's a funny one with
I actually did see that one.
with Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah, that's a hilarious movie. Did not need a sequel,
I
but
saw
the
the
original was awesome.
bad moms too, or the bad Christmas moms, or whatever it was. That was really funny.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
All right. Back to Liberty Manners. That's what we're here for. Even though we're having some holiday fun already.
It's holiday fun. It's the holiday season.
So I would love to know. We would share some of the stories of the veterans, Connie. But how did you first start? Like, how did this whole idea come to be? Did you actually take veterans into your home, or like, where did you begin with this?
No, once I found out that there was not housing provided for veterans that played it straight all their life, I was sitting there thinking, well, I have never suffered any addictions myself, saved my money, and I thought, I have just enough money probably to buy a house for them because I've saved my money all my life. So I thought, I bet I have enough money to be able to purchase a house. So I started looking
In
around.
06, by the way, which
In
was the
06.
absolute peak of the market. I remember that. I'm not chiming on that one because you said you started in 06,
We
right?
did,
Okay.
yes.
That I got to throw my little real estate fund in there.
Yes,
at the market timing.
absolutely.
So how did that go down? It was a peak. So did you get a deal as you moved into 07?
Yeah,
or?
actually we did. If I remember correctly, it was like $169,000 for this astronomical house that today houses 20 veterans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was huge. Plus it has I call it a cabana in the back. It used to be a hairdresser that used to rent it. So this house used to be a Section 8, and they had a ton of kids that lived in it. There was a
Wow.
big family. So we partitioned off several of the rooms that were huge. This house is the same age as me, which I shouldn't disclose, but it's over 60 years old. So with that, the rooms were large. So we were able to partition some of them off and make them private rooms. Because as you know, with veterans, they have a lot of issues with security and They prefer, actually, we love windows. You're always wanting to sell houses that have light. We want light.
They like no windows, right?
They don't like windows. They would. I have a guy that we
Give him a
rent
dark
to.
closet. That's
A
private.
closet. He took up my closet. I mean, he moved his bed and everything in my closet.
Wow.
This is a code violation.
He's like, I like it here.
But with starting that program, I had no experience. I had legal experience, so I didn't have any in the housing.
What'd you learn from that? Like buying this big house that's that's housing 20 veterans. Like,
Yes.
what was your experience? What was your learning lesson in that?
I had one big one that really cost me quite a bit because code enforcement
Oh no.
did come in and did an inspection, and I welcomed them because I was so proud of it. It looked so beautiful, and I've got it decorated so nice. And I thought, okay, this is great. So I gave them a inspection, and they closed us down. They gave us 3 days to move every veteran out of there and make them homeless again
Why did they close you down?
because we didn't have a fire suppression system.
The sprinklers.
the sprinklers.
Oh wow.
You couldn't just get enough of those. Shh.
No, but let me see
So that's because it was sort of like they view it as public
commercial
housing
now.
or
Yeah.
commercial.
Yeah, it's commercial now. So I had to rezone, which was astronomical in cost. I didn't expect that. I just expected to purchase a house. I am by far an affluent person.
Well, and
Just a middle class that tried to help some
Yeah,
veterans.
so but in rezoning, once you rezone for commercial, I mean your taxes are going to quadruple.
Yeah.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
So we got the fire suppression system, which FYI was $85,000.
Back
I-
in, we got a
07?
07.
Yes. Yes.
So that same system now would have been like 120.
So
Yeah.
you really had to move the veterans out and they were homeless?
They made them homeless again.
Where
So-
did they go?
Well, I stepped into motion and rented some houses for them. So I rented 3 houses until we could get back into this house.
Wow.
I can't tell you what that did to my marriage. He was not as ambitious about helping homeless veterans as I am.
Well, it's hard. I mean, I can tell you
It's
have a
hard.
passion for it, and it's really hard to make your spouse have that same passion.
Yes.
It's,
I mean, I went through all of our nest egg,
yeah.
and it looked like I was going through a midlife crisis when I just wanted to buy one house and be done with it,
Sometimes it's like that. one little idea throws you down a rabbit hole, and you're like, oh, man.
Yes. Well, it was $85,000. We bought our own tank, which is comprised of 1,000 gallons of water that suppresses a line of water through the whole house. And we could have chosen to spend $38,000, but the city of Tampa's the one that closed us down, and the city of Tampa Water Department's the one that wanted us to connect the house with the water. So I thought, no, I'll buy my own. So I chose that route, which probably wasn't smart. I cut off my nose to spite my face. But
So you went with a well instead, as you're saying?
no, it's a tank.
It's a tank.
It looks like a jacuzzi. I told the fire department once they turn around, and leave, we're making it a jacuzzi.
All right.
You can't actually make it a jacuzzi.
All right, our off-air number, if you want to help them, we're going to dive into some of the stuff they do and how you can assist when we come back for the final segment of the show. Again, Liberty Manor for Veterans. Connie is in the house, 813-377-2775. That's our off-air number. If you want to call or text veterans, we will get you connected with Connie so you can help. 813-377-2775.
Welcome home. This is Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Inspection. Normally at this point in the hour, I would be bringing you some hot listings, but
We've got them, but we got more to talk about with Connie.
we have to find out how people can help Connie's organization.
Yes.
And I think I would rather talk about that.
So let's talk about how many veterans you house today, how people can help, especially going into the holidays, and then I'd like to know what people can do to support veterans so they don't get forgotten about for the holiday season.
You're right. People just do not think about homeless veterans during the holidays. We think about children, but we don't think about, I never did before I actually got into this industry, never thought about homeless veterans. It's a travesty because they don't want to put a Christmas tree up. I asked them again this year if they wanted me to decorate, and they definitely do not.
Don't.
It's a very depressing time of year for them, and it's understandable. It is.
Do they? So, for example, on Thanksgiving, does someone come in and cook for them? Do they cook together? Like, how do they celebrate Thanksgiving?
Well, we have a board of director that's been so wonderful in establishing this meal team. And he is a Knight of Columbus member and also very involved in his church. And he's recruited a lot of families that come in every week and drop off a meal to our veterans. Because our veterans don't even have the ability to stand up at the oven and make a meal.
So that's not an option.
They're disabled.
Got it.
They're not just homeless, but they also have some disabilities. So he's done an excellent job of recruiting people to bring in meals. So we have Christmas and Thanksgiving covered so that they won't be forgotten. They just don't want decorations. They want food. They love food.
Yeah,
they love their
yeah.
food. They actually always meet our volunteers out front to help them bring the food in.
So I have a relevant question. You might be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she asked this, but I'm going to ask it. So with military, right, you always think about them being armed, right?
Yes.
So how does that play out in an organization like yours where I'm sure they all probably want to be armed? Like, how does that work?
Well, most of them can pass a background screen, so they can be armed if they want to.
Right.
That's not a problem. An interesting story is our former sheriff told me during a meeting one time that the crime rate had decreased in that area where Liberty Manor is located, which is in the university area. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, that doesn't surprise me at all. And he's like, really, why not? And I said, because you've got 20 trained killers under one roof.
Yeah.
The crime rate's going to decrease.
Yeah. Everybody wants to live near or around there.
Yes, absolutely. It has done a lot for the community. Also, we are responsible for the veterans being placed on the driver's license, which means they don't have to take their DD-214, which is their discharge paper.
Oh, nice. So it's on their ID now.
Yes, I signed that into a bill.
That's great.
That's awesome.
So we do a lot more than just house homeless and disabled veterans.
Well, it's turned into a life for you.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. It is my life. It's amazing I have a sustaining marriage, to be honest with you, because it's about 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm 100% sure.
There's a lot to it.
So how can our listeners and the people that support our show and our, listen regularly, how can they support you guys and the veterans in Liberty Manor?
Thank you for asking that. Yes, you can go to our website or just Google Liberty Manor for Veterans. Fortunately, Liberty Manor is the first one that'll pop up. I'm so delighted to say this, we're the most successful in the country, according to the Veterans Administration in Washington.
That's awesome.
They came down, they sent 3 people from Washington to look at our model, and they asked me point blank, what makes y'all so successful? And my reply was, government's not involved.
Womp, 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 womp.
That was good. That was right on point.
I work for government, so, oh my
It's true.
goodness.
It gets messy. It takes longer. It's more expensive.
It does. If I have someone that doesn't want to play it straight, and from time to time we have, not very often, but I find out they do have an addiction, they're gone. I'm sorry.
It doesn't fit into your model.
It does not.
Sense. Yeah.
So we find them alternative housing with a substance abuse program, and then we take the next customer that wants our services.
And you have a lot of veterans that have been with you for a long time, right? Like it's not something where they
Yes.
transition out into their own home, or sometimes it is.
They should.
But they don't want to
Katrina, but what happened was, for instance, we have this veteran, he lets me use his name, David Peacock was in the line at the Salvation Army, and I had a bed open because somebody wasn't playing it straight, so I had a bed open. I went up to the Salvation Army, and I asked in line, how many here are veterans? He raised his hand first, so I said, okay, you're coming with me. So he got in the car, and we're driving, and I go, I started thinking about it, and I thought, why in the world did you load up in the car? You don't know where you're going. You don't know who I am.
You don't exactly look like a train killer. I'm
Well, I would never have jumped in this car, though.
They're guys. They're going to get in the car with any woman that is better than the Salvation Army.
So he said, it's just got to be better than where I was going.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, okay, well, I'm taking you to a veteran's home. I have a bed open. And it turned out, we call him Wolf because he looks like a wolf. And any of y'all that are going to start bringing food out to the veterans, you'll meet Wolf. He's my number one go-to guy. This gentleman was a product of foster care. And his family gave up on him. 3 different foster care parents gave up on him. And he was abused while he was in foster care, unfortunately. But passes a good background screen, persevered all adversity, and went on to serve our country in the Navy. So I'm so proud of him. I really am. I'm very proud of him. Being in the court system, you don't hear of cases like that. All the cases that I saw in foster care were in the system. And it's very unfortunate, but, he did persevere it. And I'm very proud that he served his country the way he did. But what happened was he had been turned down 5 times for disability.
Wow.
Visibly, he has a disability. He was a concrete man. And he used to put his hand in buckets of concrete and stir it. Like we used to just get the job done back in the day. There wasn't OSHA and all this. So he would stir concrete. Well, today he has Lyme disease. And he's ate up with Lyme disease. You can see it on his arms. He can derive an income from working in concrete much more than getting a disability. So I'm like, why would he go for a disability, folks? When
Yeah. So how can we help? Is it? Do you have
Please.
money, time, food opportunities?
Oh my goodness, we're so
Okay.
indigent. We're the most successful, but we're also the most indigent.
All right, please help Liberty Manners. That would be
813.
my
Giving
ask.
Tuesday right around the corner.
Let's give it our offer number one more time. We'll get you guys connected. 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. Love where you live or we'll fix it. Welcome home.
Love where you live or my mommy will fix it.